Anyway, we are not talking about my crappy gameplay. We're going to talk about this awesome game that we're watching here, right?
Yeah, kick us off.
All right, down in the lower left-hand corner, we have our red Protoss from, and I'm not sure the team, so I apologize, Rengen, but it's Rengen.
I think it's a Formless Gaming. I think it's somebody in the Twitch chat actually said it was a Chobo Team League team.
Oh, cool.
I guess like Chobo, there's the Chobo Star League, and then there's Chobo Team League, which is kind of, I guess you could almost think of it as like Pro League, but
Right.
I think they take one player from every league, and that's a team, and so you do, bronze v bronze, silver, so on and so forth. So pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's a pretty cool concept. Base trade, it's not base. Anyway, first we have spawning at the top right. We have our purple Zerg EON. Up one game, as not updated.
Oh, this is actually game 2? I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, this is game 2, isn't it?
Oh, is it? No, it's not.
Oh, this is the first
Oh
one
no,
I
but we
thought.
had just seen EON win a game. I get confused.
You've that pay raise that I was going to give you.
Yeah, that pay raise
for
is
being
cut.
an admin. Totally cut.
We see our Protoss with much higher APM here.
I don't even know the button for APM.
M. Well,
It's
it
at the
is in the
bottom right.
standard overlay.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Okay, you guys can do your thing. I'll be quiet.
No problem. I've never had the opportunity to watch the Chobo League though. That sounds like a pretty cool format. It's a lot of fun. Of course, with something like this, that it's open to all players. You get anyone from pro players to bronze players. So it can be fun, right? But if you never get a game where you're playing someone within a league of yours, then maybe you end up you play 2 grandmasters in a row and you go home in tears. So that could be a tough format to play in.
Actually, so while we're talking about other tournaments, as Rengen throws down his gate and puts his gas out and sends this lone probe across the map to probably scout the natural here, one of the things that got me into the tournament and sort of bigger into realizing that StarCraft needs a bit more, not a bit more help, but more is always good whenever it comes to esports, right? Nivek actually had invited me and mentioned this thing called ESL, which is a fairly big league. They hold some of the WCS qualifiers. They also hosted the IEM Extreme Masters last month. But they have several free tournaments for each region. They focus primarily on Europe and North America, but they have a Wednesday tournament for North America that's split up specifically by league. So bronze, silver, gold league players are in one tournament, and platinum, diamond are in another. And then they have an open tournament on Sundays where you get a small cash prize of like $25 or $50. So that's another sort of league where you can sort of get some tournament experience, but you don't necessarily have to get your head bashed in every time by a GM if you don't want to.
Right. Chances are you're going to get your head bashed in by somebody closer to your level, right?
Yeah, and that's sort of almost acceptable because you feel as if it's more, I don't know, like if you get beat by another gold, you don't feel so bad because you're like, okay, he's gold, I can beat another gold. I've beat previous golds. Mm-hmm. But if you keep getting if you keep drawing the random number generator of master, grandmaster, master, grandmaster, at some point you just feel ineffective because your matches are only lasting between 6 and 10 minutes.
Right. You can dig that. We've got some sort of curious openings going on. Not really sure what we're going to see out of our Protoss hero next. Some early lings and pretty early speed out of our Zerg player, and a pretty late wall off for our Protoss. Losing just a couple probes. Not a huge deal, of course, but the less probes you lose, the better. And those 2 links should never really get any probe kills. So just a small mistake there, just a little bit, just a little lack of control. But these lings should show up right about when speed finishes, so this could be a scary little poke in. The wall is finishing, but not currently, so this is another situation where he's got all the tools he needs to handle this, but will he?
Oh, look at that. That's really unfortunate. The Zerglings just happen to find the one little hole in the defense of the Protoss line. Zerglings are chewing up workers as crazy. He manages to get the sentry shield down. The sentry falls, but at least he's walled off. He's got a chance with the mothership core and the stalker. Is there a zealot in there? I can't tell, but wow, he felt that it was too much, and GG.
GG. Yeah, so he does have a photon overcharge there that comes, right? Maybe he's able to finish the wall. Maybe something else like that, but absolutely a tough situation there. If he had his zealot on hold command blocking the wall, he's going to be at least in a little bit better situation there. It's still going to be a lot, right? That's a scary push. He was absolutely not really ready for it. but he might have been able to pull that out. I think we go to Expedition Lost next.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I think when I saw that the initial 2 Zerglings got in there, saw that he didn't have a full wall yet. He basically had 2 pylons and a zealot, just there, having breakfast. He flooded with lings and tried to take advantage of it. And even though the wall was at least in the progress of being completed, there was one little hole there, and it just allowed all of them in. And his stalker and zealot were out in position, scouting a third. Or scouting his third,
right?
And it was just, I think it was just like a perfect storm of things that happened that allowed that match to just slip out of our Protoss' hands there. And it looks like they're actually set as the wrong races. One of these guys is set as Terran. Okay.
So yeah, I guess from the past 3 games that we've seen EON play a ZVP, he's done some aggressive stuff. Do you think he's just? I think he's always been just playing against Diamond Protosses, excuse me. Do you think it's more of just a like? Is it like not like maybe not disrespect, but just a feeling of, you know what? Probably better than these guys, especially once you're in a 0-0 scenario. There's a little bit of a, yeah, I'll try and do something, right? And then once you're up in this like 1-0 situation where you don't want to drop a game, but you're like, I guess I can drop it if I want to, and you're not in like a bad mindset if some sort of all-in or just kind of risky build order doesn't go right. You go, well, I had like a 50-50 chance, and it didn't work out, and whatever, we go into game 3. And, do you think that's just like why EON's probably kind of going with that? We'll see. I mean, how should Rengen change the way that he plays, maybe thinking that EON will try and be a little bit, maybe almost reckless, or I guess some sort of calculated recklessness or something?
You weren't asking me a question, were you?
I was asking the chat.
Let's pitch that one out to DJ.
They'll get to it in like 3 minutes.
No, let the chat, please. I talk way too much anyway. I'm sure they're tired of hearing my voice.
Well, it's difficult with a tournament. Everything's like delayed by 3 minutes, roughly, for them. So, unfortunately, not a lot of chat interaction. But no, I think. I don't know. I guess I've had that thought in my head, like, maybe Rengen. I'd want to see him to, like, he was pretty safe this past game, but yeah, that wall just not being there was kind of sad. I was kind of I wanted to see him like continue on a little bit further. I think he could probably, I don't know. I think if it comes to a macro game, you got a chance. You got to fight. You could fight.
Sure does. The death ball always has a chance.
Well, I think also there, he did have a sentry, and the sentry did manage to block off the ramp to split the Ling flood in half. Right. The sentry was probably maybe about 5 seconds too shy, and if he'd have been able to get that at that hole that was left in his wall, I think he could have stood a chance. But didn't happen. But woulda, coulda, shoulda. Still, I think he had the right units. I think it's one of those things where at this level of play, you're looking at like something delayed by 2 or 3 seconds. Really comes down to creating a GG situation or not.
Yeah, absolutely. So getting us kicked off into the game, spawning at the bottom left, our orange Protoss hero fighting his way up through the losers bracket, Rengen.
And our Zerg aggressor, currently up 1-0, is our purple Zerg, EON. Which, fun thing to note about purple Zerg, since Zerg primarily is like purple anyway to start, to have a purple Zerg is almost like hurting my eyes.
I try to pick teal or purple against people that aren't using team colors, especially against Zerg, so I can blend in. A little bit of that camouflage going on. You hide your proxy pylons next to minerals.
Oh, that's funny. That I think, you know what? If that ever happened to me in a team game, I think I would rage quit right before I said that's kind of awesome. Because then you're like, why can't I mine that mineral? And you're like, oh, that's not a mineral. That's a power crystal.
They look the same, man. That's the only building that really feasibly you could build out of these magical blue crystals. I'm sure there's some StarCraft lore out there, right, about how you can take Vespene and minerals and get anything you want out of them.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like all the what is it? All the divisions for every league are like named after like a planet or a sector or something like in StarCraft lore, and like or like a Greek. It's like what is it? Like some StarCraft lore word and then like a Greek letter. So whatever, like Rain or Epsilon or whatever it is.
Whoa, whoa!
What is
crazy
this?
Zerg shenanigans? Taking the gold base.
And it looks like they both expand at the same time, so let's see here. So the Nexus is about 25% finished. The Hatch is about a third done, half done. So, yeah, they're both expanding at the same time, but we all know that equal bases for Zerg is never a good idea. You typically want to be at least one, preferably two bases ahead of your opponent in all situations, mainly because of larva production, but then that income addition is also a bonus from that, too.
Right, and what does flip that just a bit in this one is that we have a gold base, so we have those high-yield minerals. It means you can stay at a lower drone count, or an equal drone count, but have higher income from that. This is kind of a cheeky little play. If it gets scouted, it's a little less bad, but there's not a ton that Protosses can do super well if they scout it at this point. It makes big gateway shoves and stuff like that a little bit stronger, but this is a base that, or a map rather, where there's not a good third base to take, so I don't mind taking this gold.
It has actually been scouted when that probe that just wandered up into the main went up there. It did skim past that, so he is aware that the gold base has been taken. He has a probe kind of sitting over here to the southwest of it, potentially to lay a pylon down to sort of handle this natural here. Spine goes down in the main to deal with this probe, but still, even bases. It's a very interesting game so far. I'm liking the choices both players have made.
Yeah, absolutely. So we did have a pretty early Nexus, right? We went Nexus before Cybercore came down for the Protoss, so he doesn't have a ton of really early aggressive weapons at his disposal. So now it's just a sort of a matter of seeing if you can scout out what your opponent is going to do, right? Who's going to be the first to sort of make a push off of this.
Mm-hmm. Is this a gap in the...
It is.
Oh, it is! Wow.
But there's maybe there's a gap at the top as well.
I think there's two gaps.
So let's see. He told us that between the games he was experiencing some lag. Normally doesn't lose 2 probes to 2 lings. The lings already have 1 kill. We'll see if they can repeat.
Wow, yeah, and here's the thing is that there is that little tiny gap to immediately to the east of that eastmost pylon. He manages to get the probe out that was being attacked pretty quickly, but the lings are still doing a little bit of chipper work. It does distract it. There's more lings coming in by the counts of that's 5. Oh man, there is a lot more lings and they just got speed. This is looking like a repeat of the last game, unfortunately. He has very few units. Where is his army? Does he have one? He looks like he's got a zealot out on the map someplace, but I don't see it.
Yeah, so he had a zealot at the natural mineral line there, but another quick game. EON repeating the previous game. A good game out of him.
Wow. We'll have to find out if somehow lag affected him and if all of us are getting these weird spike disconnects.